Good morning, and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. If you will have any questions, you can ask them in the comments of the live feed. If you need any more advice, you can join the official Intuit Quickbooks SMB community group on Facebook, where the accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. During this live session, I will be running a poll, so please do engage with it, and I will reveal the results at the end. And also, please make sure that you registered for QuickBooks' free annual conference, Quickbooks Connect. Look out for the link in the chat. Taking place virtually on the 9th and the 10th of March, the event brings entrepreneurs, small business owners, and accountants together to grow, learn, and to connect. My name is Eva Mrazikova, and I'm accountancy market specialist with Iris Software Group. As an accountant, I have almost 20 years of experience in dealing with the accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, VAT. In my current role, I'm making sure that I'm helping the accountants to be at their most efficient themselves, making sure they get in the best out of the digitalization and automatization. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I do still talk to many businesses and help them to ensure that they are embarking on the digital journey, but that they actually are able to do it in the efficient way for them, for their business, and that they are taking advantage of all the digital tools and automatizations that are out there. So it won't be a surprise that today's topic is one of my favorite ones. One of the topics that maybe hasn't been mentioned in the last few months due to busy self-assessment season, but it's going to be under the radar of many very soon again. And it's making tax digital. So just to recap, we have Making Tax Digital for the VAT, for all VAT registered businesses with the turnover over £85,000 that came into effect from April 2019. Now, this scope is widening, and from April 2022, all the VAT registered businesses will have to comply with MTD regulations. So even if the business is under the threshold of £85,000 of the turnover, but is VAT registered, they will have to comply. What does it mean? So for those of you who still are not sure about what it means, is that under the Making Tax Digital for the VAT, all those businesses that are VAT registered have to keep digital records. So there has to be some form of digital record keeping, and also then the VAT returns are being submitted through MTD compliant digital software. Now, the thing I want to discuss today, and it's maybe a little bit controversial, maybe that's why I like it, is Making Tax Digital burden or opportunity for your business? Because I hear many business owners' first reaction, oh my goodness, this is another thing we have to do, we have to comply. We are small business. This is actually going to make things more difficult for us. It's going to make it more expensive. But it's just on the first reaction, we kind of naturally try to defend our position, and we're trying to reject if there is something more asks of us. But if we look under the bonnet of Making Tax Digital and what it means, and I'd like to take you on this journey where you start thinking about it differently, that it's not just a beating stick, but it can be actually an opportunity for your business. And I'm going to tell you why. So first of all, up-to-date financial information. So if you until now have been keeping paper records, and maybe you've seen your accountants once a year, or maybe you just drop the records for the VAT once a quarter to them, and then you've asked, how was I doing? The financial information you are getting is, at the time of you getting it, quite historical. So if you imagine many sole traders, if they've seen historically accountant once a year, and they may be after 6 months after their year ended, they only then knew how their business was doing. So it's not really giving you much confidence that you actually know what's going on in your business. You don't know whether you're doing well. You might think you're doing well because you have enough cash, but maybe it's not the true representation. Maybe it just takes one customer who will pay you late, and then you are getting yourself into trouble. So with making tax digital, because you will have to do regular submissions, quarterly submissions to the HMRC, the idea is that you have then yourself up-to-date financial information, which can greatly empower you as a business owner, because you know exactly what is happening. If you imagine you want to grow the business, you might go to the bank to ask for the loan. So the first thing usually the bank asks is, we need latest draft of latest account, last 6-12 months of trading. And again, if you would have been keeping just the paper records, it's going to take time for you and your accountant to prepare those up-to-date financial information. So again, it's going to take you longer to get the financial help loan that you might want from the bank. The other thing which is quite important, I think, is kind of having your real-time, up-to-date picture in terms of who you owe money and who owes you money. The thing I hinted on earlier, you think you might be doing great, you had so many sales, but you have no cash in the bank, and you look and maybe there are customers that owe you money for 2 or 3 months, 4 months, even more. So there is something fundamentally wrong with the credit control procedures that you have in your business. So if you imagine that you will issue the invoice in a digital form electronically, you send it to your customer, maybe with the link attached how they can pay. Imagine how can this speed up the process of you getting your money back for the work you've done. Or even if you run in your balances at the end of the month, you quickly see, okay, so this account is overdue. I cannot, or I shouldn't be doing any more work for this client until they pay me. But again, because you kept those digital records, you have up-to-date information about it. And the same is the other side. You don't want to be owing suppliers for unlimited length of time, for months, where maybe you're relying on early settlement discount, or you're relying on special pricing because you have a good relationship with your supplier. So again, this is all helping you, kind of both sides, helping you to manage your cash flow. And along with that, because you have maybe 80-85% of your information up to date, you have approximate tax liability for the period. So you know beforehand, well ahead, not on the 31st of January, but well ahead, what is your tax liability. So again, you can incorporate it into your cash flow plan, into your planned spends, planned purchases, expenditure, and so on. So imagine how much power you have just when you have more or less up-to-date information. And this is actually helping you to focus more on the running of your business, on doing what you are good at, whether you are a plumber, whether you are a hairdresser, whether you are a retailer, a small shop, because you don't need to worry about as much this being always behind with your finances, or being always behind not knowing what your finances look like. This will actually help you to focus on your business, and also any critical business decisions that you might have to do, whether it's expanding, whether it's pivoting your business, whether it's buying piece of plant and machinery. This will all help you, empower you to make better decisions. And the important thing is, guys, as well, that I want to stress, work with your accountant on this. Your accountant knows the best what you need. They know your business, so they are able to advise you about the type of software maybe you need to buy. They are able to help you to set it up correctly. They are able to explain to you why you need to do certain things. So work closely with your accountant on this, because this can actually empower not only your relationship, but it can empower your business and the way you do the business as well. Well, I hope you found this useful, but please do get in touch if you have questions. And I'm going to now start taking questions from the queue. So we have first one, Rosie on Twitter DM. Morning, Rosie. I've been using QuickBooks for a while and recently hired an accountant. I want to understand the best way we can work together on the product. What should we be doing? Any easy wins? Rosie, thank you very much for your question. And I'm sure many people will find this question and the answer useful. So you've done great 2 steps. So you adopted digital software and you have seek help of the accountant. So this is a fundamental good basis for the good partnership for your business. So what I would do if I would be you, you need to sit down with your accountant. You need to let them know about your business. You need to show them what way you are doing the business, what way you are doing your record keeping, and they will give you feedback whether this is sufficient enough. Also, they will be able to give you pointers. Maybe you're doing things in a more difficult way. Maybe there is easier way to do it. So they will be able to help you or to guide you how to do how to have efficient record keeping, how not to spend hours and hours. If you can maybe automate some of the processes that you have. So it's really, you need to talk. It's like any partnership. The communication is the key. Never assume that the accountant knows until you tell them. Never assume that by what you're doing now that that's enough for the accountant because you are using piece of software. The accountant is very skilled. They studied years for their qualification. They have years of experience, so they are able to tell you the best way of using the piece of software, so you get the most out of it for your business as well. So really the communication is the key, and ask the accountant what would be easier what would make your life easier, for if I do it this way, this specific way, and they'll be able to tell you. But yeah, make sure you communicate, never assume. Hopefully this answers your question. Ahmed on Instagram DM, can you explain the difference for MTD for VAT and MTD for income tax? Why are they happening at different times? Do I need to do both? Ahmed, thank you very much for your question. So yes, it can be a little bit confusing. So we have 2 different MTDs, buckets, as I would call them. So we have MTD for the VAT and MTD for the income tax. So as the name suggests, MTD for the VAT only applies to businesses who are VAT registered. So it doesn't mean if you are, for example, a sole trader, that you automatically will have to comply with Making Tax Digital for the VAT, because if you are not registered for the VAT, this is not going to apply to you. But if you are self-employed, sole trader, or maybe you have rental properties, you are a landlord, that's where Making Tax Digital for Income Tax is going to apply to you. And Making Tax Digital for Income Tax, or MTD for ITSA, as they referring to, is going to apply from April 2024 to any self-employed business or landlord with the income over £10,000. So if you are Ahmed, if I'm going to use you as example, you might be sole trader, self-employed person, and you're not VAT registered. So MTD for VAT, it's not going to apply to you from April 2022, but you will have to comply with Making Tax Digital for Income Tax from April 2024. You only need to do both, or you would need to do MTD for VAT from April 2022 if you are VAT registered, and you would know if you are VAT registered because you have to register. So you would know. If you're not sure, speak to your accountant. But the only thing that I would add to this, even if you only will have to be compliant with Making Tax Digital for Income Tax from April 2024, it's good for you to think now about what way you are keeping your records, what way you're communicating with your accountant. Is there any way to make this more efficient, more productive, more easier for you? So even if you are at the moment using manual record keeping, it's probably time for you to look at different ways, more efficient ways to do record keeping. So hopefully this answered your question, but if you need further clarification, please get in touch with me. I'll be very happy to help you. Sydney on Twitter DM. I have been set up on QuickBooks for ages and I have a great relationship with my accountant. So happy to hear that. Does that mean that I'm already MTD compliant? Do I need to change or check anything? Hi, Sydney. Delighted to hear about your relationship with your accountant. So when you have QuickBooks, sometimes there is a little bit of misconception that once you kind of are using the software that you are MTD compliant. But there are certain things you need to be aware of. So all the digital records, all the records have to be kept digitally. And QuickBooks is MTD compliant software, so you would be okay there. From your question, I don't understand whether you are VAT registered or not. So if you would be VAT registered, you just need to make sure that everything, all the information that you submit in, it's coming directly from the software, that there is not manual intervention there, that basically the total figures are populated from the data that you have entered before. And this is going to be very similar with Making Tax Digital for Income Tax. Again, the digital records will have to flow directly from somewhere. So it's not just that you type figure into the software and that you submit it. What I would suggest is that you speak to your accountant and based on your specific case, if you're not, for example, VAT registered, the MTD for income tax is going to come in April 2024, but maybe you might want to talk to your accountant about testing it with the pilot that starts from April 2023. But from what I hear, the basics are right. You already have digital record keeping software. You just need to ensure that, depending on the type of your business, for example, that you record the data in the correct way. So say, for example, if you have takings, that you not kind of type in one figure for a month, but that you record, for example, once a day, your daily takings and things like that, depends on your specific business, type of business. So speak to your accountant because they will know exactly what requirements are based on the type of your business. Florence on Instagram DM. Do you think making tax digital is a good or bad thing for accountants? Perhaps clients will become more reliant on accountants, or they learn how to do their accounts better themselves. Goodness me, Florence, I must be projecting something. This is actually another very good question, and thank you for that. So guys, I want you to think about MTD in another different way. So by you as a business adopting digital software, you're not necessarily making any favors to your accountants. And I want you to understand that it's not that you are doing them favor or that you are doing their life easier. Sometimes it's the opposite, especially if you don't have any bookkeeping or record keeping experience. You might not be using the software correctly. So that is why it's important for you to have an accountant behind you who will help you, who will guide you how to use the software. There is an old saying, shovel doesn't dig a hole. What do I mean by that? If you buy a piece of digital software, it doesn't make the accountant or bookkeeper out of you if you've never done it before. So you need to really create good, strong relationship with your accountant, and they will help you. I don't necessarily agree with the saying that you will be more reliant on accountant, because if you approach your accountant and you ask them, listen, I want to do this myself, I want to do as much of it as I can myself, to do the record keeping and so on, I'm sure they will support you, they will guide you, they will train you, they will explain to you the best way to use the software so that you actually don't have to rely on them, because accountants are busy. They don't want people to rely on them too much, and if you are independent business owner and you want to just get on with things, they're going to support you. So doing accounts and doing record keeping, there are two different things. So if you imagine you do this kind of record keeping task for your accountant, there is still an art to it to produce the final accounts. That's where the accountant's expertise will come in, and that's where you will rely on them, because they are professional people. They studied for years, they have years of experience. So it's kind of, again, communication is the key in the relationship, and ask them, be open, I want to do as much of this myself as possible, because simply I enjoy it, I have time, or I want to save on my accountant's bill. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. But take their guidance, listen to them, because they are the best place to explain to you what way you should be doing the record keeping. I hope this helped to answer the question. It's just really, I'm quite passionate, there is a place, there is the record keeping software is very important, but the place that your accountant has within your business, it's also very important. I would describe it as some kind of symbiosis where the two of them live together and support each other. So hopefully it makes sense. Rahim on Facebook Messenger. A friend of mine has said they're willing to loan me some money to help tide my business over the next few months. Should I keep this loan between me and him personally, or should it be to business? And if so, how do I log it? Hi, Rahim. This question probably created more questions for me. So I'm going to just give you a hint, but please get in touch with me if you will require further clarification. So if the loan is for your business, I would be of the opinion that you should kind of show it on your balance sheet that it is for your business. Also, do you want to have some kind of agreement with your friend? Are they giving it to you interest free? Are you going to agree on the amount of repayments? So this all kind of, we probably mix in private and business here. So you need to be very careful on the conditions under which your friend is loaning you the money. Are those, I'm not questioning them, but you need to be you need to have a plan how you're going to repay the loan, how you're going to finance it. It's probably easier for you to access the loan from the bank, but you need to make sure that the expectations from your friend who is loaning the money is matching the expectations you have by repaying the loan. But if it's for the business, I would suggest it should be on the balance sheet of the business. But please do get in touch with me if you want to discuss further. Also, it depends on your structure, whether you're self-employed or a limited company. So yeah, I would need to know more, but please do get in touch with me. Joe on Twitter DM, as a sole trader, I should be signing up for MTD for income tax now or wait till 23-24? Hi, Joe, it's another good question. So no, as sole trader, if your income is over £10,000, your mandatory date will be April 2024. Now, if you want to join the pilot, you can speak to your accountant that can help you to enroll you on the pilot, but nothing is stopping you now, Joe, to start your regular record keeping, to maintain your records digitally. Nothing stops you. So when the MTD for income tax comes in, for you, it'll be just business as usual. Nothing will charge for you, which I think it's the best way for most of the businesses out there. If they adopt this different mindset, we do it now because it's actually going to help our business. So when the mandatory compliance date will come, it's all just business as usual. We're not stressing. We have it all sussed out. Everything is working. So I wouldn't delay it. I wouldn't say, oh, MTD, it's another 2 years, so I can still carry on with my paper records and whatever. No, I would suggest that you look out there and you set up your records digitally and have a regular digital record keeping, because also, if nothing else, it takes time for you to get used to the software, for you to learn the nuances of the software, making sure you do it properly. So there is no time like a present, I would say, Joe. Gerard on Instagram DM. I'm confused about whether non-VAT registered businesses need to be MTD compliant yet or not. Gerard, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, so I'll say it again. So no, from April 2022, all the VAT registered businesses will have to be compliant with the MTD for VAT. If you are only a sole trader, self-employed business that is not VAT registered, you do not have to comply from April 2022, okay? So only the VAT registered businesses, and you will know whether you are VAT registered or not. If you're not sure, I would be probably a little bit worried. So again, speak to your accountant, but you should know if you are VAT registered or not, because it's something that doesn't happen automatically. It's triggered either by your turnover or by voluntary registration. But if you're not sure, check with your accountant. So for all of you out there who are just sole traders, self-employed businesses that are not VAT registered, you have time until April 2024. But again, there is no time like a present. Look out now what you can do to have more efficient record keeping. Siobhan on Twitter DM. I have set up with HMRC for MTD and had confirmation, but QuickBooks keeps disconnecting. Recently, I get status saying blocked. Any quick fixes? Siobhan, this happens sometimes from time to time where actually HMRC portal isn't communicating with the QuickBooks. So I would keep refreshing, maybe clear your cookies, cache, sometimes that works. Also, sometimes you will need to pick the phone and speak to HMRC. If there is no luck after all those trials, maybe contact QuickBooks, but sometimes, the both sides need to communicate. If you have the confirmation, refresh, maybe try a different browser. There are different things. if you're really stuck, please get in touch with me or with our Intuit QuickBooks teams. Will be able to help you, but sometimes you need to kind of go through the process of elimination first. So keep trying, keep refreshing, try different type of web browser and so on. So guys, this was a last question, and again, thank you so much for all the questions. So I can see your mind is started to think about making tax digital, which is good. So we have the poll results. We have asked you, is your business already set up for making tax digital? 20% of you said yes, and 60% of you said no, and 20% answer not sure. Okay, I'm going to plead to all of you guys, please look out for the information now, speak to your accountant now, make sure that you act now. Sometimes it's a long process to set up. Reach out to me. I'm very happy to help you guys, to guide you through it. Reach out to our amazing SMB Intuit QuickBooks community as well, where you will get many questions answered and direction. So make sure that you're starting to think about it now and preparing now, especially if you are VAT registered. Please do seek help as soon as possible, because the time will fly and you will need to comply from April 2022. So thank you again for tuning in this morning. If you have any more questions, please get in touch with myself on LinkedIn, Eva Mrazikova. I'll be very happy to help you and answer your questions. Coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is business strategist and founder of Enterprise Lab, Ketan Makwana. Tune in to learn his 7 principles of investing. A reminder that if you need any more advice, you can join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where the accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. I've really enjoyed this session with you guys. Hopefully you found this useful. Please, if you need anything, get in touch and have a lovely day.